guys, it's Stacy and welcome to my channel. Today, as we had in the title, we're going to be taking this little bear image from this Colorado Craft Company stamp set, the Anita Jeram, or Jeram? I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I love her images. Happy Day. And we're going to be coloring these up with 3 different mediums. We're going to be using Copics, that's my jam. If you've been here before, that's my fave. And then we're also going to be using Distress Inks to watercolor with. And last but not least, we're going to use some colored pencils. I'm going to use the Polychromos from Faber-Castell on craft cardstock because I love the way colored pencils look on craft cardstock. So we're going to get started here. We're going to be using the Copics first. Big surprise, right? They're like, we don't have favorite children, right? But if I had to pick a favorite child, that would be my favorite child. And I'm just going to color this image, and I'm going to start with my darks. And I am starting with nearly the darkest. I think I bring the black in, the 100 marker. But originally I thought this was probably going to be my darkest. And I'm going to be coloring a black bear, very similar to what we actually have in the state I live in, which is California. We have black bears and there's different brown bears too. And I'm just going in and establishing my shadows, and I'm blending them out. And I'm going to leave some highlights on the belly and the face because that's where I'm going to bring the brown in. Because the black bears in our area do sometimes have brown snouts and bellies and sometimes ears, or they'll be like brown undertone with the black fur on top. All different shades. And today I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink to stamp this image in. I am using Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock for my coloring. I did finally get some Express It cardstock in that I ordered from Simon Says Stamp. If you guys can't find it anywhere, which I couldn't, like on Dick Blick, there was a couple other places, but their prices were a lot higher than Blick Art Material or Blick Art Supplies. I mean, I remember them as Dick Blick. So the Simon was the closest, and if you use their $5 coupon that they typically have, it helps save on the shipping. And also, if you just don't factor in the shipping, it makes the price, I think, even lower than Blick. So I'm going back in, and I go from my darkest to my lightest, and then I work backwards. And a lot of times when I am coloring in an image, maybe I'm working up to the bolder shadows, so I'll keep building on those instead of just going in and laying it down, because I don't want my shadows to overtake the image. I want there to be some contrast in the images. So a lot of times I'll have gaps and in between by 2 markers. A lot of people will go, let's say we're doing the warm grays, they'll do warm gray 1, warm gray 2, warm gray 3, and it's so beautiful. But I like to maybe go, if I'm doing that, and go 1, 3, 5, 7, and sometimes even a bigger gap, because it offers you a little more contrast in your image. And I'm still a chicken when it comes to that. But however you color, just do it. However you create, do it. The important part is to get creating. And I don't know about you, but for me, creating and crafting is a form of therapy. And I think it is for a lot of us. And sometimes I put in my AirPods, I kick on the music, and I create. And it takes me to a whole different place. It allows me to just turn down the noise from everything outside and focus on what's in front of me. So, and here I was deciding, and you'll see that I'm not carrying that green all the way from one edge of the card to the other, because part of me wanted to make it look like a storybook. In a storybook when they're real soft images or in the backgrounds, like the backgrounds are soft and they kind of fade off the page, they don't take up the entire page. Well, that's why you see me starting that way. And then I'm adding these little flicks, and they're not accurate, you guys. If you concentrate your darker shades together with the flicks in the grass, I could have got hills and valleys and more depth that way. But that's not how I started, and I decided that I wasn't quite liking that, so I carried the light green all the way from edge to edge. And then I'm going back in and adding some flicks, and like I said, I can be a chicken, and I'm just continuing to deepen and add more of the darker colors because as I'm going, I'm deciding, well, I don't really like it as quite as washed out as it was. And then I'm adding more flicks and just take the tip of your marker and flick it from side to side. And I'm telling you, no matter what you do, as long as you're light with that marker and you allow that flick motion that goes from a thicker section to a thinner section, your image will look great no matter what. You'll look like you've been coloring forever. It'll look like you know what you're doing. Because really, I don't. I learned on YouTube, I've watched other artists, and I've just learned by trial and error. And so there's no right or wrong way. Just create and create however you're comfortable creating. And you can get so many different looks in different ways. Same with colored pencils, any medium you use. So right now I went ahead and I stamped, this is this heavyweight craft cardstock. This is Michael's brand. And this stuff is thick. I bought their 110-pound cardstock before, and it's been a while because it takes a while to go through it. This stuff is so much thicker, and it's thicker than some of their other colors. So I'm not sure, but I liked it. It actually has some texture, which is great for colored pencils because you need a little bit of tooth. You can color on smooth paper, but you're not going to be able to layer quite as many layers. And that's what I'm doing here. So I went in with that light ivory pencil originally, and I laid down where I was going to put those lighter tones. So we're going to color this guy up just like we did with the other one with Copics. And because the cardstock is darker, I wanted a lighter base in those areas. And same thing with this gray that I'm going in, this warm gray. It's one of the lightest ones in the set of pencils that I have. And I'm laying it down. And you could do a bear just like this. I mean, and I think it looks great just there. There's a lot of times throughout this process that I thought, oh, that looks really good. I should have stopped. And that can happen. You just keep going and it gets better and better because there's times you go through an ugly duckling stage in your cards until they just look good. And there's other times where they look good early on and you keep going and maybe it looked better before because I don't know about anybody else out there, but I'm extra. So I always feel like I have to overcomplicate things. And you can get very different looks. And so what I'm doing is just layering these pencils. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. If you're someone who hasn't had experience with colored pencils, just hold your pencil further back. If you're someone who struggles with pressure, because if you take that pencil and you put too much pressure and you lay it down trying to get all that color out at once, it's going to flatten out the tooth of your paper and it's not going to allow you to keep layering. And that is one of the beautiful things about colored pencils is that you can layer and you can use a few different colors if you don't have certain colors in your set and layer them and they will make a color. Um, just depending on what it is. And you can also, which I'll show you later, go and layer lightly on top. You can add highlights later, where in markers you have to think in reverse. You have to think where you're going to lay out your highlights, and you have to plan for it because if you don't, you're not lightening it, or you have to go back in with a gel pen or a pencil anyway, and you can lighten to an extent, but not like you can with the beautiful colored pencils. They layer, and you can layer light on top of dark and dark on top of light, and they're beautiful. So I'm going in, I'm adding the grass, and what's cool about this is there's texture. I believe I get up close later and there's texture in the fur in a way in depth in the fur that there isn't in the Copics. They're in the same in the grass. And that craft cardstock, it shines through. And I really like the effect that it gives with a craft cardstock. It almost makes the pencils, to me, it almost makes the pencils feel like they're popping off the page. Um, and I'll do one sometime in the future, and I'll do one just on white cardstock so that you can see the difference. Maybe I'll do a comparison between the two. And then here, because of the way pencils are, I'm able to put some texture, not just the grass blades. I'm able to lay down texture. So in real life, it's almost a little bit translucent. So, but at the same time, some of these colors are opaque. So it will allow for textures so you can see different hills and valleys in there. Where with the Copics, I would have had to plan that out a little bit differently. I wouldn't have just been able to go in and add that after. And here I'm going back and I'm deepening those shadows. And I'm going to deepen those shadows in the areas where I had it on the one that we colored previously with the Copics. And I'm using a circular motion. And see, here's where I brought my other image over. And I'm wanting to give a comparison, so that's why I'm using similar colors and trying to get the shading in the same areas. And I was able to layer that on top of those dark colors and add those highlights. I left my stamp and my stamp positioner in the same place when I had, after I'd stamped the image so that I could go back over with the colored pencils and stamp on top of it. And if you see, I'm doing it quite a few times because I'm being really light and really light with my pressure so that I don't distort those lines. Just make sure that your cardstock is pushed up in that corner all the way, and that when you put it back in there that it is, because if not, you'll get a ghosting effect and you'll be so frustrated with yourself that you spent all that time on the image and then those lines didn't line up, and then you've got the ghosted image or the distorted blur in the lines. And then this one is done on Canson watercolor paper and the XL card watercolor paper. And I'm using Distress inks. And what I'm doing is using a really small brush because I haven't watercolored in a really long time. I think I did with the Zigs just a few weeks ago, but I mean, truly watercolored with watercolor paints, or I like using Distress inks because it is watercoloring, but they do different things than your watercolor paint. They allow you more control. And since my jam is Copics, that's what my favorite is. It's hard for me to go back, even though in the beginning I did watercolor all the time with Distress inks and loved it. And I love the freedom that it gave because it's a much looser look. I was having a hard time on this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I was having a hard time on this one because I wanted the same control that I have with Copics. You're not gonna get it with watercolors. You can try, but you don't. And you're gonna get such different. If I went and even used all the same exact colors, you get such different results, and that's part of the beauty in watercolors too. Is you get this softer look. You can get an ethereal look. You can give a wash that's so even in a way that it in other mediums you just don't get. So I started with the same concept of going in with a lighter color. I went in with the gray, and then I've gone in with the black afterwards to deepen those shadows. And the reality is I could have used black, and I could have just watered it down more and did a wash. However, any of those other pigment colors that are in that gray would not get picked up in the black. And maybe if I was using a warmer gray, which I think Tim has now, I think it's Lost Shadow, that probably would have been perfect for this, especially with the brown. And you'll see that I believe I go in with a lighter brown and do a undercoat and then go back and lay over it because it does give a different depth. And I just keep going in and layering these colors. And part of the reason it's taking so long is I'm using a small brush, very little water, and I am trying to have control of those watercolors that you're not supposed to have. So if you struggle with that with watercolor, know that you're not alone. Just keep going, and you'll find the beauty and the freedom that watercolor gives you that maybe some other mediums don't. That's part of the joy of it. Um, and all these inks, when you see me come back in, if I'm not showing the color, I've shown it, and I'm not bringing anything new in. It was what was up there. Like, I think that's Twisted Citron down there, and I'm not sure if I showed it. And then that's Mowed Lawn, the darker green. And I believe for the grass, I brought in a little bit of a larger brush, and I'm using round brushes from the, what are those? The black silver brushes. They are probably, if you're a beginner, it's probably not the best brush to use because they're very soft and they're very thirsty, so they're going to hold a lot of water. You'd probably with a snappier brush like a Princeton brush or just even your water brushes. That's what I used before. I used a Zig water brush that I got from Michael's years ago, and it had very firm synthetic plastic bristles, and I loved it. It was what I learned with. It gave beautiful results. You don't have to have high-end, super expensive art supplies. You use what you have, and experiment. I've even used acrylic brushes from that are made for acrylic paint and got beautiful results with them with watercolor. Maybe I'll have to bring, I don't know if I still have those cards, but I probably have the photos somewhere. And it was amazing what I was able to get on some of the things, and I was learning, and it was beautiful. It like got me hooked. And it's really affordable. Copics, and I mean there's a lot more affordable alcohol markers out there now, but they're expensive. I mean, even a smaller set can be up there in cost. Get you a couple of distress inks and you're good to go. And it's and you can get so many different effects. So I'm going back in, and I really want to darken those shadows because the bear was appearing more gray to me. And then here we are at the end. This is the watercolored one, and I just mounted them on different colored cardstock and then put a sentiment there that was die cut, and I stacked up the letters about 3 high so it has some depth. And then here's our colored pencil one on the craft cardstock. Look how cute they are and how different they look. Even with the same sentiments, just from changing the color of the cardstock and the medium. And then also, I just wanted to show different placement for the sentiments, how it gives your card different feel, which is one up here at the top. It's not overlapping anything. This one's overlapping the image a bit and tucked in closer. And this one's like nestled into an opening of the image. And I think they give all beautiful results, all different feels. So play around with your placement of your sentiments too. So you guys, thanks for stopping by, spending some time with me. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!